So far today, we've seen and done some pretty interesting things. We've even done some learning, but I have to admit, neither place was all that photogenic. Well, that's not the case for our last stop of the day. It's one of my favorite photo ops. We're going to take pictures of sand dunes. We're getting close to Monahans Sandhills State Park. It's about 30 miles southwest of Odessa, and that's about 400 miles from where we started in Dallas. And by the way, we've been gaining elevation along the way. We're now at about 2,700 feet. This is our stop for the night. It's just a few miles before the town of Monahans, where you can find places to eat and a hotel if you prefer. But I like to camp, so I can take in the dark night sky and look at all the stars. And take pics as soon as the light is right in the morning. The one time I stayed in the hotel, I was locked out of the park the following morning, so now I always camp. By the way, the park entrance is just off the interstate. For about the last hour or two before you get here, you're in oil country. This Texas-sized sandbox is just a small 4,000-acre section of a 70 by 20 mile wide sand deposit that's just full of oil wells. So let me tell you a little bit about this COVID-friendly state park. It has just 26 campsites. It has an RV dump station and picnic areas. But most people come here just for the day to slide down the dunes that are up to 50 feet high. You can get things to slide on at the visitor center, where there's also exhibits, restrooms, and of course a gift shop. But there's little or no food items. It looks kind of hot and desolate here, and remember, I don't recommend this as a summer road trip. It's just too hot. Even in May, the dry air can dehydrate you sooner than you realize. So drink plenty of water no matter when you come. I've been to a few places with bigger sand dunes, but here they're a manageable size. And it looks like Texas. But in the spring, it tends to be pretty windy. In fact, a few minutes after I made these tracks, they were gone. I've never seen it crowded, but I have bumped into other photographers. Part of the appeal to me is just how empty it looks. It's a vast area. You look around and all you see is sand. And, well, there's some scrub. And I know this series is called The West is Big, but not everything out here is big. These are little oak trees. They're called shin oaks because that's often how tall they are. They just come up to your shin. And they never get taller than about 4 feet. But they do have big roots. The roots can go down 70 feet to find water. By the way, all the vegetation around here helps stabilize the dunes. They don't move much. If you were paying attention earlier, you may think that this sand is a leftover beach from that Cretaceous seaway. Well, that's not what they say. This sand blew in off the mountains to the west. The sand just settles in this little low point. In the spring, it can be very windy, and sand seems to love to damage cameras and stick to lenses. And there are times, though, when the wind is just blowing too hard. One time when I was here, I rolled out of the tent and sand was blowing everywhere. I just took a few snapshots and then packed up. There are no marked trails here, so I just walk around and look for shots. It's not hard to find several different looks within an easy walk. And when I say easy walk, well, walking on sand isn't necessarily easy, but you know what I mean. I've taken my best shots right around sunrise. The shadows on the ripples tend to look a little bit better when the sun's a little higher in the sky. Sometimes just an hour or two after sunrise can make a huge difference in the quality of the shots. Monahans may look arid, but it gets over 12 inches of rain per year, and that's enough to support wildlife. They say that there are small rodents and the coyotes that feed on them throughout the park, though I've never seen them. After a short time here, I hope you feel as I do, that there's something very photogenic, something very scenic about the emptiness of a vast dune field. Whether or not you come home with a good shot is totally up to you. It's your creativity and your photographic skills that are required to take the shot. The good shots don't just pop out here, they have to be created, which makes it a fun challenge to find a spot that's good enough for a frame-worthy shot, or one that'll get a bunch of Instagram likes. But when you do, it's pretty satisfying. This shot of mine was on the cover of the Dallas Morning News travel page. Or it could have been this one. But I don't know which one they picked, but they picked one of them. By mid-morning, the good light is gone. So there's nothing left to do but buy a fridge magnet and head off to our next photo op, Guadalupe Mountains National Park.